I am Ashish Kumar. Today topic is history of the programming language. In the last video, we have discussed about evolution of the computer, generation of the computer, and now we are going to discuss about history of the programming language. So let's start. The programming language was started near 1820. Charles Babbage derived a difference engine as a machine that help to perform the mathematical operations. It can generate mathematical tables, automating the mechanical step efficient. It was limited computationally. It could perform only additions, subtractions, and solve a series of the polynomial expressions. After the difference engine, Charles Babbage was looking for new invention that helped to generate the Bernoulli series. Bernoulli series was introduced by the John Bernoulli in 1770. That series is used for the financial system. So Charles Babbage wanted to design a machine that has for the finance system. So Charles Babbage discussed that problems with Ed Lawrence, and after some time Ed Lawrence designed an algorithm that helps to generate a Bernoulli series, and that programs helps to generate a new engine that is known as analytical engines. That analytical engine can able to perform Bernoulli series, other series also. So Ed Lawrence give the algorithm at that time how they can generate Bernoulli series in analytical engine. In 1813, the first programming language was developed in the 1813 when Ed Lawrence and Charles Babbage worked together on the analytical engine, which was primitive mechanical computer. Lawrence write an algorithm for the analytical engine, the first computer program to compute Bernoulli's number. So Ed Lawrence write a program that generates a Bernoulli series. So there is some like sequence of code that has to generate a Bernoulli series. Conrad Zuse developed a first real programming language called Plankalkül. Zuse's language allowed for the creation of the procedures which store chunks of the code that could be involved over to perform routine operations, but this language could not publish till 1972. That's why this language is not too much highlighted. After the 1944, the next evolution in computer programming language 1949, assembly language. Assembly language was the first used as the type of the computer programming language. Assembly language was used in the electronic daily store automatic calculator EDSAC. Assembly language is a type of the low-level programming language that simplifies the language of the machines. It means assembly language is more understanding with the machine, less understanding with the human, because all the code in the machine format. Right? So it was able to simplify machine code language, which is necessary for the telling a computer what to do. In today's time, also assembly language is used in the real programmings, in real programs such as simulation, flat navigation system, and medical equipment like fly-by-wire systems. It can also create a computer virus. After assembly language, shortcode language was used in the Univac. After the shortcode, a new evolution in programming language is Autocode. In 1952, Autocode was a general term used for a family of the programming language. First, it was developed by the ALGOL for the Mark I computer at the University of the Manchester. Autocode was the first ever compiled language that it can be translated directly into machine code using a program called a compiler. COBOL and FORTRAN are the language referred to as a autocode. So after the autocode, next language is FORTRAN. Formula transaction equal to FORTRAN. FORTRAN was created by the John Bucks and is considered to be a oldest programming language in a use today. The programming language was created for the high-level scientific, mathematical, and statistical computation. Proton is still in use today in some of the world's most advanced supercomputers. So after the Proton, the next language is ALGOL. In 1958, Algorithmic language or ALGOL was created by the Joint Committee of the America and Europe Computer Scientists. ALGOL served as the starting point of the development for some of the most important programming languages include PASCAL, C, C++, and Java. It was also the first programming language implementing the nested functions and has a simple syntax than Proton. The first programming language to have a code block like begin that indicates that your program has started and end means you have ending your code. So in the ALGO code, you have a syntax denote that you are starting your program and there is an end keyword that is pointing that you are terminating your program at this point. After the ALGO, the next invention in the programming language is COBOL. In 1959, COBOL, Common Business Oriented Language, COBOL was created by the Dr. Grace Marie Hopper to be a language that could operate on all type of the computers like credit card processor, ATM, telephone and cell phone, hospital signals and traffic signal system. COBOL is still used in these days primarily for the banking system and gamification systems. After the COBOL, the next language is LISP. In 1959, LISP was introduced by the John McCarthy at the MIT. Originally proposed for the artificial intelligence, LISP is the one of the oldest programming language still in use today and can be used in the place of the Ruby and Python. Companies such as Acceleration, Boeing, and Genworth are still using LISP in their tech stack. After the LISP, the next evolution in the programming that is the BASIC. In 1964, BASIC beginners all-purpose symbolic instructions code. John J. Kameny and Thomas A. Curtis developed BASIC for the student without a strong background in technologies and math, enabling them to still use computer. Program has been used to simplify communication between the program and the computer. BASIC is the high-level programming language which allows the program to access a similar, more consolidated data and actions rather than presenting raw data directly on the resource. The language was developed further by the Microsoft founder Bill Gates and Plum Allen and become the first marketable products for the company. The first microcomputer version of the BASIC was co-written by the Bill Gates, Culp Allen, and Monty DeWolf for the newly famed company Microsoft. In 1991, Microsoft released Visual Basic and update version of the basic language. So after the basic, the next invention comes the programming language, that is a B programming language. B programming language is developed by the Dennis Ritchie and Ken Thompson at Bell Laboratory in 1969. After the B language, next is Pascal. In 1970, Pascal language was introduced. After a French mathematician, Blaise Pascal, Nicolas Wright development of the programming language in his honor. It was developed as a learning tools for the computer programming language, which meant it is easy to learn. It was favored by the Apple in the company early day because of its easy of use and power. His principal objective for the Perl were for the language to be efficient, to implement and run, allow for the development of the well-structured and well-organized program, and to be served vehicles of the teaching of the important concept of the computer program. Pascal also brought programming concept from the ALGO 68 and ALGO W. So ALGO also create some versions like ALGO 68 and ALGO W. So some concept comes in the Pascal from the ALGO 68 and ALGO W. So after the Pascal, the next language is Smalltalk. In 1972, Smalltalk was introduced. Adel Goldbugs, Dan Englers developed Smalltalk, which enabled computer program to change the code quickly. It introduced a variety of the program language aspects that are the visual language for the 2 days, such as the Pythons, Java, and Groovy. After the Smalltalk, the next language is C. In 1972, C was developed by the Dennis Ritchie at Bell Laboratory for the use with the Linux operating system. It was called C because it was based on the earlier language called B. Many of the current leading languages are derivatives of the C, including C, Java, JavaScript, Perl, Python, and PHP. So after the C, the next language is SQL at the time. In 1972, SQL was the first developed by the IBM researchers Raymond Biosy and Donald Chambrians. SQL is used for the viewing and changing information that is stored in the database. Nowadays, the language is Anchorage SQL, which stands for the Structured Query Language. Evolution of the programming language is MATLAB. Clever Moller developed MATLAB for writing math program. This language is used for the research and education, and it analyze data, development algorithm, create models and applications. After the MATLAB, next language is Ada was originally designed by the team led by the Jan Islia of the CUU Honeywell Blue under contract of United States Department of Defense. Named after the mid of 19th century mathematicians at Lawrence. AD is the structured, statically typed, imperative, wide spectrum, and object-oriented high-level programming language. ADA was extended from the other programming language at the time such as Pascal. ADA is used for the air traffic management systems in countries such as Australia, Belgium, and Germany, as well as other host of the other transport and space project. After the ADA, the next language, Objective-C. Brett Cox and Tom Loves create Objective-C as the main language used for the writing the Apple software. Programming language used to write a software for the Mac and iOS and Apple operating system. So after the Objective-C, the next one is C++. C++ was introduced in 1983. Bajaj startups created C++, which is the extended of the C programming language. This is the one of the most used language in the world. C++ is used in a MS Office, Adobe Photoshop, game engineers, game engines, and other high-level performance software. C is known as the structured programming language. C++ is the object-oriented programming language. After the C, the next one is Perl. In 1987, Perl was introduced. It was created by the Larry Bell, and this is a general purpose high-level programming language. It was originally designed as a scripting language designed for the text editor, but nowadays it's widely used for the many purposes such as CGI, database applications, system administrator, network programming, and graphical programming. After the Perl, the next language is Haskell. Haskell was introduced in 1990. Haskell is a general purpose programming language named after the American logicians and mathematicians Haskell, Brooks, Urey. It is a purely functional programming language, meaning it primarily mathematical. After the Haskell, so the next language is Python. Python was introduced by the British comedians through Manthi Python. Python was developed by the Ludo von Rosen. It was a general purpose high-level programming language created to support for the various of the programming styles and fun to use. So nowadays Python is have the big market, right, as similar as Java and the. So after the Python, the next language was introduced, Visual Basic. So Visual Basic was developed by the Microsoft. The basic next language is R language. R is the programming language and the software environment for the scientific analysis, graphics, representations, and reporting. R was created by the Ross Acker and Roberts Gentleman at the University of the Auckland, New Zealand, and it is currently developed by the R Development Core team. R is fairly available under the GNU General Public License and pre-compiled binaries versions and provide for the various operating systems like Linux, Windows, and Mac. After the R, next language is Groovy was introduced in 1993, created by the Yukihiro Moshimoto. Ruby is an interpreted high-level programming language. A teaching language such as influenced by Perl, Ada, LISP, and Smalltalk, among others. Ruby primarily uses R for the application development and Ruby on Rails, Twitter, Hulu, and other well-known examples for the company that use the Ruby. After the Ruby, the next programming invention is Java. In 1995, Java was introduced. Java is the general purpose language, high-level programming language created by the James Gosling for an interacting TV object. It has cross-platform functionality and is consistently among of the top of the world most popular programming languages. Java can be founded everywhere from computer to smartphone to packing materials. Sun Microsoft developed Java originally interacted to use with the handle to device. After Sun Microsoft, Oracle take care of this. So after the Java, the next language is PHP. PHP was introduced in 1995, formerly known as Personal Home Page, which now stands for the Hypertext Preprocessor. PHP was developed by the Rasmus Lardrup. Its primary use including building and maintaining dynamic web pages as well as server-side development. Some of the biggest companies from across the global use PHP, including Facebook, Wikipedia, Indigo, WordPress, and Joomla. These are the companies that use the PHP in a big scale. After the PHP, the next language is JavaScript. JavaScript was introduced in 1995. JavaScript was created by the Brandon Beach. This language is primarily used for the dynamic web page developments like PDF documents, web browsers, and desktop sites. Almost every major website uses JavaScript. Gmail, Adobe Photoshop, and Firefox include as well known examples. So after the JavaScript, the next programming language is C#. C# was introduced in 2000s, developed at Microsoft with the hope of combining the computing ability of C++ with the simplifying of the Visual Basic, and C# is the best on C++ and share many similarities with Java. The language is used in almost all Microsoft products, and it seems primarily in the developing desktop applications, and it seems primarily in developing desktop applications. So after C#, the next language is Scala. Scala was introduced in 2003, developed by the Martin Odersky. Scala, which combines mathematical functions, programs, and organized object-oriented programming. Scala compatibility with Java make it helpful with the Android development like LinkedIn, Twitter, and Netflix are just a few examples of the many companies that are using Scala in these tasks. Correct. After the Scala, the next invention is Groovy. In 2003, Groovy was derived from the Java. Groovy was developed by the John Stench Bob Victor. The language improves productivity because of its succinct and easy to learn. So after the Groovy, the next language is Go. Go was introduced in 2009. Go was developed by the Googles to address the issue that is occurred due to large software systems. Due to its simply and modern structure, Go has gained popularity among such as the largest tech companies around the world, such as Google, Uber, Twitch, and Dropbox. So after the Go, next invention is Shift that was introduced in 2014, developed by the Apple as the replacement of the C, C++, and Objective-C. Shift was developed with the interactions to be easier than the aforementioned language and allow less room of the error. Shift versatility means it can be used for the desktop, mobiles, and cloud applications. Leading language app Duolingo launched a new app that was written in a Shift. So in the today's topic, we have covered all the programming language that we are using nowadays and history of the programming language. So thanks for watching us. Jai Hind. Please like, share, and comment this.